Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to the Whiskey Cove. And on today's episode, we asked the question, is this Nulu stuff any good? Let's find out. Run that video. Alright then, friends and allies, welcome back to the Whiskey Cove, and welcome back to another new and exciting episode where we will delve deep into Nulu wheated or toasted wheated bourbon and ask the question, is this Nulu stuff any good? We will find out very shortly. A couple of housekeeping things. If you like today's video, you like what we do, hit that like button and comment down below if you have tried Nulu and what you think about it. And also subscribe to the channel as we approach 5,000 subscribers and we get oh so close to that 5,000 free subscriber giveaway. We're like right on the cusp of it right now. And how cool would it be to get the bottles in people's hands ready for Christmas? So if you would want to win one of these 5 bottles, we have the Willet 4-year rye. We have Early Times Bottled in Bond, the black top brown Foreman, Old Forester single barrel strength. We have Weller 107 OWA, and then we also have E.H.Taylor small batch, and we will be adding one more as soon as we hit 5,000 subscribers. So you need to do 2 things. Be a subscriber, that's a definite guarantee. And then secondly, go over to the Whiskey Cove's website, go over to the shop all tab, the link is down in the description below, and then sign up for the free giveaway with your shipping information. There's some FAQs down below, so you might want to read them first, and then also pay attention to when we do the live stream, because you will have to watch it, or not necessarily tune in live, you can watch it afterwards, and then see if you were the winners, or one of the winners polled. So let's get these whiskey bottles, I should say, out of here. And then let's get into this video, shall we? So, whilst I was in Kentucky, Nulu was kind of on my radar because it wasn't available in Colorado. And as someone much like you folks at home, I like to watch different whiskey YouTube channels, and a lot of people had some good things to say about Nulu in general. I didn't really pick up many bad things whatsoever, which was pretty cool. So while I was in Kentucky, I wanted to try to find a bottle. And I knew that I was going to do a video at Justin's House of Bourbon because that was something I had planned for quite a while. But I also wanted to pick up one of their store picks for the Nulu whilst I was there. It's funny actually, because as soon as I came back to Colorado, like 2 weeks later, they started distributing in Colorado, which is mental and excellent timing. However, I purchased the bottle that you have in front of you, which is the Nulu Toasted Straight Bourbon Wheated Whiskey, coming in at 112.2 proof or 56.1% ABV. Age stated 5 years, and we'll come back to that later. The mash bill on this is 51% corn, 45% wheat, and then 4% malted barley, and so quite high wheat, 45%. And then it says a little blurb on the back here. For this expression, we take straight bourbon whiskey and rebarrel it into new toasted American oak barrels to finish. The finish takes anywhere from 3 to 8 weeks long or longer. 3 to 8 weeks is a bit of a guide. It's not very long as like a double oaked or toasted whiskey. So even though I was gonna buy this whiskey anyway, that kind of pinged the red flag. And this is obviously MGP distillate, which is pretty good stuff for the most part. So that kind of reassured me a little bit. And then just going back to that 5-year age statement. So 5 years is not much when it comes to whiskey in general. Generally when I drink 4 or 5-year age whiskey, I can sometimes pick up some youthful notes. However, this is a toasted whiskey, so what I tend to find is that can kind of round out some of those flavors and then bring some really interesting notes to the party. I did pay $84.99 for this, so it was quite pricey, and I believe that does sit somewhere on the MSRP for this. This is wax dipped. The bottle itself has a synthetic cork, nothing too spicy about the bottle. It has a pretty plain tag on the back. The front is a little bit hypnosis, if you like. It does say non-chill filtered. I guess most whiskey is these days when it comes to barrel strength stuff. Nothing really to shout home about in the bottle. Let's look at the whiskey in the glass here. Doesn't look too thick. It does sit up against the side of the glass, but it still looks quite thin as I'm just kind of rolling it up against the light. Color is a little bit of like a new oak color, I guess, if you like, would be a really good explanation for that, with a bit of a copper zing undertone there as well. Let's go in for a nose here. This is Nulu 5-year toasted barrel, or toasted bourbon. So there is a nice little bit of pleasant sweetness on the nose as you first stick your nose in. And then afterwards, I'm getting a little bit of like a lighter cherry note there as well. But it goes from like a nice candy cherry into almost like a pledge note. And I don't know if that's something that's available in the US, but essentially what that is almost like you'd have a table like this and it's in like an aerosol can, and you'll spray it and it's like cherry flavored, and then you wipe it down and then your surface will be shiny. It kind of has some of those vibes because it kind of goes into a little bit of a sharp graininess, and that cherry note kind of follows suit there as well. But it still has a really nice soft wheat sweetness on the front. It's definitely more butterscotchy. Not too much cherry, like a toasted cherry notes there, or toasted barrel notes. With toasted barreled whiskey or double oaked, I expect maybe like more barrel chop, more marshmallow, more caramelized sugars. It's not quite delivering on that. And I definitely do feel like I'm picking up on some of that youthful note. Like I said, that's that maybe like pledgy aerosol-y youthful note. It could be worse. It's not too bad. It's almost like a story of two different whiskeys. It kind of starts off really nice, to be fair, but then that kind of falls away really fast. However, let's go in for a taste here. Nulu wheated bourbon. Do get a really nice wooded sweetness, maybe more on like the mapley side right off the bat. But then it just punches, it starts getting really sharp, almost like a vodka, like fresh distillate sharp. Because that's what it is more of a youthful bourbon. You're getting more, some of those like rounded double oak notes, the sweetness, extra wood presence, but it still hasn't rounded off those youth distillate notes there as well. It kind of has more of like an acetone note to it in that aspect. It does have a pretty decent mouthfeel, I will give it that. It does sit on the palate really nice and rich, but even for all of that toasted barrel sweetness there, it's just not able to quite hide the acetone youthful notes there as well. The cherry's definitely there too, and if I'm really picking feathers, maybe some spice there as well. It's not too burny, it's not very rye forward, of course, because there's no rye in there, but then that kind of note is definitely not there, along with some of that bacon spices. It's just not really there. Maybe like a sprinkling of like a nutmeg or anise there slightly, but as you drink through it, you get this like weird aftertaste. I wouldn't say it's not like metallic-y or anything, and it could be like the wheat bran note that you get from some wheat whiskies. And I'm wondering if this is the same distillate that Copper Sky used for their 5-year wheat whiskey. It's a little less ABV for the Copper Sky one, but that drinks really well, and that's MGP as well. I think that's the same mash bill of this, but they almost like completely two different whiskeys. However, going off on a little bit of a tangent there with that. But all I'm saying is that Copper Sky 5-year wheated from MGP is very good. This is not up to par with that, so far anyway. Let's go in for another taste here and see if we can pick apart the finish anymore. There's actually not much of a finish to really write home about. You are getting more of the oak tannin kick up in the mouth there as well. And maybe like a touch of like coriander, medicinal notes on the back end in the mouth. But apart from that, the finish is quite short. It's just really how it leaves your mouth. But there is a burn there as well. A good old classic Kentucky hug is definitely sitting on my chest here with this. There's some decent things with this whiskey. And you could see what they were trying to do with this, but I would love to have seen them do exactly what they did with this whiskey, but just with like 7-year-old distillate. I know that can be really difficult when you're sourcing whiskey, because it's kind of just like you gotta use what you can get at the end of the day. So let's do this. Let's give it value for money, A through F, A being the best, F being the worst, and then we'll give it a score out of 100. So value for money, $84.99. It is a barrel-proof toasted whiskey, if you like. So even though something like a Michter's toasted Elijah Craig Toasted, 1910 by Old Forester are on the lower ABV. I'm still thinking about their prices and bringing that into my conclusions here. I think this is a D for value for money. That's not great just because it has such a high price and does not really deliver to that price there as well. I think maybe this would be worth it at like $55 because you're not getting any age, you're not really getting anything special. I think that it's kind of like the good times whiskey that you have. It just uses like youthful whiskey and they try to do some fun stuff with it to make it unique and also to bring in some unique flavors to make it individualized and to kind of cover up maybe some of those youthful notes. I don't think they achieved that with this, which is why I give them a D for value for money. So score out of 100, of course, 100 being the best, 0 being the absolute worst. I will be honest, when I first opened this whiskey, and I've drunk a couple of times, I was really worried about the score that it could have today. But going back to it today, giving it just a little bit longer, because this has been open for about a month here, I think that has probably done it quite a little bit of a favor. I'm gonna give it a 52 out of 100. I thought it was gonna be in the 40s or maybe even the 30s if I'm completely honest, but it just does enough on the front end with that nice barrel char notes, and then also the nose is really nice, even though there's some of that youthful notes there as well. There is enough good flavors in this whiskey to get it as like an average whiskey, which is what 50 is. 50 to 50, 45 to 55 is your average whiskey. Nothing fantastic, nothing bad. Just you maybe buy it once and that's it. Would I buy this again for 85 bucks? No way. Would I buy another Nulu product for this price? No, I would not for this price. Maybe if they came out with like an entry-level small batch bourbon for like $40, that would be something I might be interested in. But for $85, I think that's a pass from me moving forward. So 52 out of 100, D for value for money, and hopefully that has given you a little bit of insight into Nulu bourbon whiskey. If I missed the mark with this, and maybe it's just a single barrel that I got, let me know in the description. Maybe I should try it again or see if I can get some samples that really give it a bit more of a fair opportunity. However, when you put distillate out in bottles and when you do single barrel picks for stores, you better make sure that that stuff is ready to go, because that is your name. Because it only takes one bottle of bourbon for you to be ruined against the brand. I'm thinking Castle and Key and I'm thinking Hidden Barn. Those are two whiskeys that I'll probably never buy again, because the one whiskey that I tried from them was just not good at all. So if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, and comment down below as we drink through the world's whiskeys, one glass at a time. Cheers.